Hello and welcome back to The Give and Go. I'm your coach Reynoso here with my boy
Soltero. What's up, y'all?
Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you're a Mexico fan or a CONCACAF fan, as we are currently in the Nations League. And if you'd like to join us, if you aren't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel to join one of the best football communities out there on YouTube, and specifically one of the best Mexican fan bases out here, man, because Mexico just got a big victory against Honduras, 4-0. The comeback is complete, and one of my favorite stadiums in all of Mexico. Mexico marches into the Nemesio 10, and they put on an absolutely great offensive performance, scoring 4 past this Honduras team after being down 2-0, man. Absolute domination at the end of the day as Mexico moves on to the semifinal.
Yeah, complete flip, bro. And what is up with Honduras becoming Mexico's punching bag when they come to Mexico?
Yeah.
I feel like it happens every single time, man. Yeah. This was deja vu of exactly a year ago, where Honduras get a good result in Honduras, then they go to Mexico and all hell breaks loose for them. Last year was a little bit closer. This year, Javier Aguirre is now back in charge. Mexico's actually been on somewhat of a positive rise, and they take care of business easily in this match, man. Honduras had no chance. I
don't think they had any chance, bro. I mean, they didn't show much fight today. They had 2 opportunities that were pretty easy saves from Malagon, and it's kind of, I mean, to me, it is surprising just how, exciting they can play at home, how dangerous they can look on the counter. I mean, Luis Palma was unstoppable in that first leg and was running Mexico amok. And then all of a sudden they land on Mexican territory and they look like shadows of themselves. They look like different versions of themselves. So I'm thinking from an Honduras fan perspective, this has to be such a frustrating experience, because what we just saw happen in the past week, I think has been going on for like the past 20 years for Honduras, man.
It's so frustrating because they get Reinaldo Rueda, who was the coach who took them to the 2010 World Cup. He left after that, and that was a massive success for Honduras. And he's back. And Honduras has had a lot of turmoil recently with their football team. The consistency has just not been there at all. But there are some really good players, Luis Palma being one of them, and he definitely showed up in that first leg. But again, even with Rueda at the helm, it's the same result, man. It's the same result. So I don't think it's going to be a easy fix. No. I really do think this is going to take a long time, because, as you said, this has just been going on for Honduras for a long time. But it's so disappointing, man. You know what I was thinking, though, is I hope one day within our lifetime we get to see a World Cup in Central America.
Oh, yeah.
Because if we get to see that and Honduras are like co-hosts, bro, they could go all the way to the goddamn semifinals, man.
And so if you're an Honduras fan, I'd love to get your take in the comments. What do you make of this? What do you make of the shit y'all been going through for the past few years? How do you turn this around? Because you do have really good players. You have good moments, but then all of a sudden it kind of gets lost in these second leg matches. Because today they faced off against a Mexico team that I think was ready for the challenge. You could see it from the moment the game started. 5-10 minutes into the game, Mexico came out with the mindset of being extra offensive and creating as many opportunities and just taking as many shots on goal as possible. Starting off with Edson Alvarez almost scoring a worldie of a goal from outside the box, forcing a great save out of the Honduras goalkeeper. But as the game progressed, Mexico just kept generating more and more opportunities. They settled into the match a little bit more after that 10th minute. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you get Chiquete Orozco gliding into, outside the box area, swinging at the ball like his leg is a golf club, and throwing in a laser of a ball to Raul Jimenez, who somehow, some way finds a way to make contact with the ball, puts it in the back of the net.
Yeah, he uses his entire leg as like a bunt, like a bat. He like bunts it in. It's insane, but it's the type of finish that I really do think only Jimenez can put in with this Mexico side. We've seen his form be immaculate in the Premier League this year with Fulham, and we're hoping hoping he could translate it to this Mexican side, bro. And I think he has. His influence is so easily seen. He's constantly on the backside of those defenders, just causing so much chaos. And he's got that ability to have that type of instinctive finish as well.
Yeah, no, incredible finish there. And then moving on to the second half, that's where all hell broke loose for Mexico, getting 3 goals in that second half. Jimenez getting an assist as well, so he ends with a goal and an assist. Alexis Vega getting an assist, and Martin getting a brace with the penalty goal to finish this game off. But some really good performances, I think, overall. I thought Huescas was great in that right back position today, a player that we really haven't seen play that much or gain that full confidence with the Mexican team. Gets a massive opportunity here to play a good amount of time in an important game, and I thought he was really good in the 65 minutes that he played. And then guys like Edson Alvarez, Jimenez, I mean, you have guys like Gutierrez getting minutes in this game, Romo coming into the match, Alexis Vega at home, and Toluca playing as well. Overall, a great game from, I'd say, most Mexican players here, just taking care of business.
Yeah, what I really loved actually happened before the match. It was all of those lineup changes. Javier Aguirre looking at that first leg, knowing that, all right, the team just didn't perform. He called up a lot of veterans, players who had featured for the national team time and time again in that first leg. And he said, all right, we lost 2-0. I'm completely changing it then. I'm going to have a new team come in, keep some of the stars, and let's see if they can get the job done. 8 changes.
Yeah.
8 changes to the starting lineup. And the thing is, it worked brilliantly because there was a fantastic fluidity with that midfield, playing just really Alexis Vega and Raul Jimenez as the 2 main forwards. We added another midfielder, and from there we just gobbled up the ball, and Honduras could not touch it. It really worked. And then, as you said, the activity of Huescas on one side and
Gallardo
on the other was fantastic. Overall, exceptional performances from pretty much every single player, that you could say 8 out of 10 from every single one. This is a complete performance, albeit against a very confused Honduras side when they come to Mexico.
That's why I'm kind of approaching this the same way I did with that USA-Jamaica match, where USA kind of struggled in the first game, got the result, but then the second one showed out. It's the same thing for Mexico here. Getting 4 goals in this game is great, and I think overall it's a positive result. It's what we wanted to see, because last year, it came down to the final minute. Edson had to tie it on some controversial refereeing decisions to tie the match and then push it to extra time penalties for us to win. Here we win outright 4-0, but it's Honduras, bro. It's Honduras, a team that I don't even know if they would make the Liga MX Liguilla, bro. I really don't. I think they'd be in that bottom tier, for being honest, man. So I need to see how Mexico shapes up against what potentially will be Canada in the semifinal. That's when we're going to get our answer, whether Mexico is, an actual contender to win this Nations League for the first time in their history, or if, that's the limitation, is facing up against a Canadian team that truly is in form and losing against a really good opponent.
Yeah, Mexico-Canada is becoming one of my favorite CONCACAF rivalries. We saw it kind of brew in the 2022 FIFA World Cup campaign, and now we're going to get to see it in March, where Canada is honestly going through a massive resurgence, and Loki, they might be the best team in CONCACAF. They kind of proved that in this summer at the Copa America. Mexico themselves are trying to rediscover who they are. So far, so good. But I agree. I don't want to get too ahead of myself in this analysis with this win over Honduras. We got to see it executed against Canada in March.
Let's move on over to Canada, who faced off against Suriname today and also took care of business at home, man. Easily swept this team away with goals from Jonathan David, Schaffelberg getting on the board, and basically by halftime, this game was done, dude.
Yeah, it was done. And honestly, both legs were very similar in the sense that Canada had 80% possession. They dominated the ball. They delivered a cross into the box every 3 minutes, it felt like. And they were just clearly the better side. The first leg, Suriname definitely defended their hearts out, and they did what they could. Canada got through with a narrow 1-0 win. Suriname came with that same ferocity defensively in the second leg, but it only lasted like 20, 25 minutes. Canada was always going to win this. They won both games. They are clearly the better side. There's really not much else to look at here. I feel like obviously Suriname one of the weaker sides in these quarterfinals.
Yeah, I think the weakest one, man, honestly. And so taking care of business, Canada, exciting. I've seen the Canadian fans. I mean, they were in attendance tonight. And they all look hopeful for what might be their first Nations League title. I think it really does come down to Mexico, Canada, who goes off in those matches, who wins that game, because I think it's going to be really, really tight, and it's going to be very indicative of just who's going for the hierarchy in CONCACAF.